Hello, my name is Jennifer Cochran, and I am doing my Module 5 presentation on educational leadership, inclusive leadership specifically today. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my presentation. I decided to use Prezi for my presentation, and so when I started, I went ahead and actually decided to review a little bit of the different areas that we talked about in this class, because obviously the 5 keys of success were something we built on throughout the whole class. This one's focusing specifically on encouraging the heart, but if we don't do all of those other areas first, encouraging the heart isn't really going to be able to be implemented before modeling the correct behavior. And if we don't share a vision with the kids or students or whatever field you're in, then encouraging them to follow through with it isn't going to be necessarily something we do either. And when you challenge the process, or getting them to challenge an idea really won't be something that you can later on encourage them to follow through with their idea. And so then enable others to act, which, getting them to become a leader is a really big idea, something that I implement in my 6th grade classroom. You can't really get them to be a leader and then enable them to just be thoughtful and courageous if they can't lead each other. Which just leads me to where we are today. We are encouraging the heart and showing them how much we care about them. So, there were 3 parts to this assignment. The first part of the assignment was to compare 2 videos or articles. And I picked a video that was a shorter video, but it was about an internal communication group. And I thought I did a really good job of just explaining inclusive leadership. So I'll go ahead and show you the video first, and then I will talk a little bit about some things that I thought were fairly important.
Finance has actually undergone a major transformation. I can say that because it probably is. Because I think we could start doing that.
Every day, we work together to tackle challenges and provide the best solutions for our clients. Our success in differentiating ourselves from our competition depends on our ability to recognize and make the most of everyone's unique skills and perspectives. We all view the world differently and interpret situations from our own frame of reference. Considering alternative perspectives allows us to view solutions from different angles. Things that appear obvious to some people might lose their meaning with others. Taking other people's needs into consideration and challenging our own assumptions reveals new possibilities. When individual strengths are overlooked, it can result in people thinking and acting the same way. This limits our potential to be successful. When teams work in isolation, they don't use the collective strength of the organization. Sharing knowledge across business and geographies improves results. When a team doesn't use all the skills and experience available, their results can suffer. Inclusive leadership is about providing opportunities for everyone to contribute. We work with a unique mix of people. When each of us embraces different perspectives, our potential for success has no limits.
So how are we going to do this?
I've just had a great idea.
I really enjoyed that video because it focused on fostering collaboration, which is something that's really big in the book that we were reading. And it also talked a lot about making the most of everyone's unique skills. And basically, it was talking about the same thing that we've been focusing on, which is like educate, 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 and making sure that people are competent. And if they're competent, then they'll really want to achieve and do their best. Because it says if you challenge assumptions, then you can reveal new possibilities, which is a great idea. And making sure that people are working together, giving everyone the opportunity to contribute and share new information, or just share that information that you've given them to be competent. So I thought that those were some great points that that video shared. The next video that I found was from Thunderbird School of Global Management, and it focuses on the dimensions in leadership from diversity to inclusive leadership. It also discusses how to be a successful leader, and that requires a global mindset. So this one's a little bit different, and it's more of like on a spectrum. And so I'll show you that video clip real quick.
The difference between diversity and inclusiveness, we actually think there's three dimensions, which is diversity, inclusiveness, and inclusive leadership. And to some extent, there's a journey and a connection between the three. Diversity, in my mind, is the mix. You have to value diverse perspectives, and to have diverse perspectives, you have to have a mix of diverse perspectives. Inclusiveness is making the mix work. Inclusiveness is about valuing those and understanding how to get them to work together to achieve better outcomes. The third element that I alluded to was inclusive leadership, and to me that's an enormous need today, which is leaders who not only realize the importance of diversity, the mix, they value making the mix work, but they themselves are capable. They have a passion for difference. They understand that leading a group means making difference safe, inviting diverse perspectives, understanding how to manage the friction and the dissent that can come with managing diverse perspectives, and leading the group to better outcomes. I think inclusive leadership does not happen by accident. And I think, in fact, Dr. Javidon here at Thunderbird talks extensively about the global mindset and how there are three components: the psychological component, the intellectual component, and the social component. I think the intellectual component of inclusive leadership or having a global mindset can be taught, the intellectual component. The psychological aspect, do I have a passion for difference? Do I really want to meet you where you are, and do I care about where you're coming from? And do I want to take the time and really be curious about what's driving, why you think what you think? There's some element of that I look for in people, and if it's not there, I know I can help it along, but I don't know that I can teach it.
I found that video to be pretty interesting because of the way it breaks up inclusive leadership. It talked about a different area of inclusive leadership. Now, obviously, in diversity, inclusiveness, and are both parts of inclusive leadership, which I find that to be very important. But it really focused on the fact of the inclusive leader being able to really make sure that the followers understand that change is a good thing and being able to deal with that change in a positive way, which the other video really didn't focus on that so much. And I think it was important that this video did mention that because a lot of people see change as a negative thing. And it also talked about how psychologically some people aren't able to see diversity and handle it very well, and that's something you can't always teach people. Intellectually, you can teach them and make sure they're competent, but psychologically, if people aren't able to handle being a leader, you can't always teach them that. And I thought that was a good piece to bring up, which is why I wanted to show this video. The second part of our assignment was to just look at inclusive leadership in different roles of the area we work in. So I thought about educational roles, and the first area I wanted to look at was administration. And I listed a few ways that inclusive leadership could be looked at, and then I did that also with a reading specialist and then in the classroom setting. For administration, I said that, inclusive leadership, you could give feedback, opportunities to succeed, high expectations, just building trust, personal relationship, having fun together, and include the staff in the decision making. So obviously with administration, some of these are to build the inclusive leadership with the students. It can be with the parents. It can also be with the staff. When I was thinking about this assignment, I was more thinking about it building the inclusive leadership with the staff. Because if my principal, or any principal for that matter, were to make sure they have high expectations for us and have us help make the decisions, then it makes us feel like we are included, and it makes us feel like we are owning decisions and we're a part of the staff, and we want to be there every day. Because I know at my current school, I want to be there because he allows us to help make decisions, and he asks for our feedback and ways to improve the school. The next area that I decided to look at was educational roles for reading specialists. And this is the area that I will be going into after I get my master's. And I decided some of the areas that you could look at would be provide professional developments to support instructional growth, innovative teaching tools to enhance student engagement, support instruction in the classroom, and analyze student data with the teacher to find gaps in the root of the problem. And I know our reading support specialist just tries to provide strategies to enhance teaching, and they try to analyze data with us to make it better. And so I thought those would be some pretty good ways that are inclusive leadership, because they're trying to give you information without trying to force it on you. The next leadership role for inclusive leadership was classroom teacher, and some of these I do, some of them I don't. And to compliment JAR, give projects that students are given choices and ownership, make sure to have fun together, show you care, create a spirit of opportunity, be personally involved, feedback, and clear expectations, and high expectations. High expectations is a really big one for me, and just making sure that the kids know that you care. I really need to work on having fun with my kids. The last part was inclusive leadership challenges, practicing what you preach, setting clear expectations, being a leader versus a manager, making time to have fun with your students, provide continuous feedback for parents and students, structure projects that require joint effort, and trust all students to be successful. I think making sure you trust all the students is a really big thing. Well, thank you for taking time to watch my presentation. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I really hope that you have a great school year and a good first semester back, and have a good rest of the summer. Thank you.